Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Simming in Oz and today we are doing Neville Longbottom and his grandmother and a few other characters. I have recently finished the Longbottom Manor and it is a pretty picture, I will not lie. And I just didn't feel right leaving it empty, it needed a family. So today we're going in and we're creating the Longbottoms. I am being book accurate, as in Neville Longbottom is not a brunette. In canon, he is actually a blonde. He's described as short, plump and blonde, and he's sort of so sweet. He's such a little button character. I do love him. I love his little cheeks and his haircut. I wanted his haircut to be very reminiscent of something a grandmother would choose for her pure-blooded son or someone she loves very much, but she's very strict and overbearing. She has an emphasis on being neat. So as you can see, Neville in his wardrobe and in his hair is very reminiscent of that. I decided to give him some life and death clothing, and it's very green, it's very neat and tucked in, little white shirt, and I love the socks that I gave him. I wanted that little Victorian boy out playing and everything, so he's got like little knee-high socks with his little loafers and his lovely little shorts and everything, and I think it's so perfect. I think it's a very reminiscent of what Neville would actually wear if he was in casual wear. I don't think he'd have, jeans and a t-shirt and stuff like that, not like Half-Bloods or Muggleborns would do. So his wardrobe does differ in that way. And then for the rest of his wardrobe, it just follows that similar theme. It's very formal, it's very neat lines, none of it's raggedy, and it's all just sort of very contained within that genre. But I do love how he turned out. I think he's an absolute sweetie pie. And then I couldn't go on to do his grandmother straight away because I wanted to play with genetics and I wanted the genetics to actually make sense. So I went and I did Neville's dad and his mum, and then I did his grandmother. I also do go through later and do his uncle Augie and his grandfather, who was married to Augusta, who I named George. George doesn't exist in canon, but I had to give him a name anyway. And they are also within the family. So George is a ghost, Uncle Augie is still alive, and then we have his parents. And I struggled with his parents, not so much creating them, but where they fit into my save in terms of they're meant to be like vegetables, and like, what do I do with that? How? What do I do? So I just basically made two people, and I might go back later and put them in hospital gowns. I might play with their traits a little bit, make them erratic or something, but ideally they'd be wandering around St. Mungo's hospital ward, just randomly saying stuff and, making origami and everything and just being themselves. But unfortunately in my save, they're a little bit more active than that, and I'm trying to think up a way. I did consider making them vampires and making them hibernate, but that's as good as dead, so I couldn't do that. So with his dad, it was very much like a grown-up Neville Longbottom version, so very clean lines, very pure-blooded. And with his mum, I made her a little bit kinder. She's got this lovely brown hair, and she is so neat, and she's a little bit more muggle than I'd say his dad is. And then she's just very kind looking. I wanted them to be really sympathetic looking, just to lean into and tug on the heartstrings of the fact that their lives were tragically cut short and that they are no longer with us in a conscious sense. But no, she's very skinny and very lovely and beautiful, and I just love how her face turned out. I love doing unique faces, and I don't usually play with this shade of brown, but it's a lovely brown color. And then I just decided to give her a lovely trench coat and go from there. And now we come to the woman herself, Augusta Longbottom. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but in canon she's described as tall, skinny, intimidating, old, and with a hat that's got a vulture on it, and she sometimes carries a red handbag. And every time I hear that, I think, man, her and Crumplebottom would be the absolute best of friends, and luckily they both live in Henford-on-Bagley, so I absolutely love that. So she's very thin looking. I wanted her to look severe, but not unkind or evil, so I really wanted to, I was walking a fine line in terms of her appearance, so her nose just does jut out slightly, and she does have like the scowly eyebrows on, and she doesn't have a smiling mouth, but at the end of the day she does have some lovely outfits and some earrings, and I didn't want her to be too reminiscent of, I suppose, what Sirius Black's mother looks like, because they're very similar in terms of their hairstyle, their dress. It's all very old pureblood lady kind of thing, very matriarch. So with her hair, I just decided to go with some nice curls, very neat, very contained, but it was all about the hat. The hair didn't matter, but the hat had to be glorious. And obviously I don't have a hat that has a vulture on it, so I just decided to go with the Henford-on-Bagley hat that the mayor wears, but in a different shade. And it had this beautiful orange and green tone to it. And I loved that because it was very reminiscent of what her house is like. Her house is very orange and green itself. So I decided to go with that, and luckily the Victorian dress matches. She's got some lovely gold earrings and some nails, and she's got her wedding ring on and some boots, and she's absolutely stunning. And I decided to give her some fun sleepwear as well. And then apart from that, it's all just very old lady chic, very upper English side kind of vibe. But yes, I didn't add in making her husband George or Uncle Algie in this video, though they do exist within the household. George is dead and the parents are still there and everything, but it's a complete household. I'm so glad that we didn't have just two people filling up this massive house. But I loved making them. I'm so happy with how they turned out. But thank you so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed them as well. I love just filling up the world and everything, and I'm so glad to finally have done the Longbottoms because they deserved it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, but if you care to like and subscribe, you can do so. But otherwise, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Bye-bye!